Because this be the problem in a lot of relationships. Men put all the pressure on a woman's shoulders to be everything a community of people supposed to be in one. Men run to drugs, they run to alcohol, they run to pornography, they run to having sexing the pain away. Negative emotion starts to change form the longer it stays in a man's body. I got this tattoo on my arm and it says, watch your thoughts, they become words. Once you're holding these emotions in, it's festering inside of your mind. The longer you live with it, the more it becomes a mood. So if there's a man in your life and he seems like he always upset, he might not be speaking to the people in the room, but he's speaking to himself. And the question is, what are the kind of conversations that he's having with himself? So many people are walking around like a ticking time bomb, ready to blow up, ready to explode at any minute. And you want to know why? Because they're holding on to something that they should have been let go. All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Halfway Up. And I call it Halfway Up because you'll never finish rising. In today's episode, we're going to get right into the topic, man. I want to talk about things that I want to see men stop doing. So out of the 5 things that I'm going to cover, let's go over the first one. The number one thing that I want to see men stop doing is hurting in silence. Men have been socialized from the beginning of time to not speak. We've been socialized to not share. We've been socialized to not let people in. We keep people out. We keep this cool, calm, and collected demeanor. We're quiet. We're reserved. We suffer in silence. Women, on the other hand, are socialized to share. They're socialized to have community. They're socialized to cry together. They're socialized to be transparent and vulnerable about their feelings without compromising their integrity, which is completely different from us as men, because we feel like if we were to open up and share the dark secrets that really resides inside of us, that now we become a weaker person. Now we've become less valuable all of a sudden. And at some point, you got to ask yourself, what is it that caused men to be this way? How did men get here? Because we weren't born like this. I wouldn't say that it's genetic or a natural predisposition that men just do not share, that men are not vulnerable or transparent at birth. I don't think that's the case. I think it's the way that we're socialized through our friends, through our family members, through teachers, people who are supposed to be taking care of us and looking after us, people that we think are cool, not really understanding that these people that we look up to, not realizing these people are not good examples or role models to follow. We learn through our community, and our community has had a slow growth process in comparison to women where they're very comfortable with this idea. It's because it hasn't been that long before we just came from this idea version of what a man is supposed to be, right? We had this idea that a man is supposed to not say shit. A man is supposed to be quiet. A man is supposed to shut up and dribble. A man is supposed to put food on the table. You don't get to have your feelings. A man doesn't get to be jealous. A man doesn't get to be insecure. A man doesn't get to be depressed. A man doesn't get to be any of these things because a man has been socialized through culture to only be a resource, to only be a protector, to only be a defender, to only be a provider, nothing else. The world has not offered more space to understand the true depth and definition of what a man could actually be, because we're so much more than that. Everything a woman feels, a man feels. We're no different. We're human first, gender second. And I think that right there is the whole reason why the gender war is on fire the way that it is, because we prioritize gender over the fact that we're humans, over the fact that humanity, we need each other, that we have more alike than we have things that separate us and make us different. You get what I'm saying? Men are not so different than women in the sense we share very similar emotions, but men have been socialized to only be robots and women have been socialized to only be damsels in distress, right? When neither of us are either one of these things. We cannot be limited to the movies and the magazines and the TV shows and the music, what it limits us to, what it tells us that we can be. No one art form, no one medium could ever fully express the full depth of what it means to be a human being. Not even this podcast. Nothing can really do it because we're constantly evolving and we're constantly changing. And one thing that I want to see men stop doing is stop hurting in silence. Because the real truth is you don't have to. I think that it's very rare out of all the men in the world that come from the shittiest households. And if we want to see men stop hurting in silence, the first thing that we got to do, there's people that are listening to this. If you know a man, if you have a brother, if you have a cousin, if you have a friend, if you have a nephew, if you have an uncle, whatever the case is, if you have a man in your life, whatever the relationship is, it's up to us to create safe spaces so those men can feel comfortable to talk to us when they need to talk. Because if they don't talk, that means they're going to internalize it. And when we internalize emotions, what happens? It turns into horrible things like stress, anxiousness, depression, cancer, and God knows what else. There's a beautiful quote from T.D. Jakes that I always quote on this podcast, and he says, when we speak, we ventilate the soul. Imagine being in a stuffy-ass room where niggas is smoking all day. It's nothing but cigarette and backwood smoke in the room, and it's just stuck in here because none of the windows are open. We need to let the window open to let fresh air in. Sometimes Sometimes you got to let the windows open in your crib so you can let a good flow of energy come through. You need that natural air to come through and clean out whatever's left in the room. You need to reset the room. Everything needs to be reset. Everything needs to be rinsed. Everything needs to be washed. It's the natural structure of life, right? We're no different as human beings. As men, we need an outlet where when the world starts to pack things on us, we can go somewhere and let it off. We can't let it stick on us because when we allow these emotions to stick on us, it evolves. Negative emotion starts to change form the longer it stays in a man's body. I got this tattoo on my arm and it says, watch your thoughts, they become words. Once you're holding these emotions in, it's festering inside of your mind. It's festering inside of your mind. And then what happens as it festers in your mind? The longer it stays there, the longer you live with it. The longer you live with it, the more it becomes a mood. So when you see a man and he seems like he's upset, so if there's a man in your life and he seems like he always upset, if there's a man in your life and he seems like he always down got shit to say, he always sticking to himself, trust and believe that man has conversations with somebody, and that somebody is himself. He might not be speaking to the people in the room, but he's speaking to himself. And the question is, what are the kind of conversations that he's having with himself? What is it that he's telling himself? Because I guarantee you, if he's not speaking to anybody, then it means he's probably not saying anything positive to himself. And if he's not saying anything positive to himself, that means he's getting worse. In some way, you could say that he's poisoning himself, even though he probably doesn't mean to, because it's something that's going to inevitably happen if you do not release it. If you don't release it, it's going to continue to hurt you. It's going to continue to change you. And so this tattoo on my arm says, watch your thoughts, they become words. So he goes from thinking all these negative things, right? Just being a normal human being, just living his life, trying to make the best of his situation and his resources like all of us are. But he keeps them negative emotions in his mind. And then eventually it becomes words. So then you hear him acting out, saying things that he usually don't say, saying things that you feel like is outside of his character, saying mean things, being a little bit more harsh with his tone, being a little less forgiving, being a little less patient, being a little less gracious, being a little less gracious with you. These things are happening because the thoughts are festering inside of his mind and they're not getting out. You might see him every day. You might speak to him every now and then. You might make the assumption that he's good. But what does my nigga Don Miguel say in the Four Agreements? Don't make assumptions. And that applies to the health of a human being. Never assume somebody is good. That's why it's always good to look somebody in their eye and really try to hold space when you ask them, how are you? Because you might be surprised and hear them because you might be surprised and realize that's exactly what they needed. So many people are walking around like a ticking time bomb, ready to blow up, ready to explode at any minute. And you want to know why? Because they're holding on to something that they should have been let go. It's people holding on to shit that happened to them 365 days ago, and they still living with it. Still living with it, and it's transforming inside of their body, showing up in a physical way. Some of us got pain in our body and don't even realize it's because of the stress that we're holding on, whether it's coming from work, whether it's coming from your financial situation, whether it's coming from your financial status. We have to get these things off of us, because if we don't, as men, it is going to fester and transform and evolve. It's going to change shape, but it's not going to leave our bodies, and it's going to hurt us. It's going to hurt us. So when I'm reading this tattoo and it says, watch your thoughts, they become words. In the Bible, it says the power of life and death is in the tongue. And for my stars and moons people, you understand the power of vibrations. You understand everything has a vibration. Everything has a frequency. You understand that the universe works off of command. The universe works off of what you visualize and what you speak. Even now, I believe the success of this podcast is going to be inevitable because I speak life. I speak success. I speak accomplishments. I speak progress. You understand what I'm saying? But just on the reverse, when you're saying negative things to yourself, look, read any book about the power of your subconscious mind. Shout out to my good friend, Joe Dispenza. I don't actually know this nigga, but I love his books and I love him as an author, and he a cold-ass white boy. And if you know me, I don't really have too many white friends, but the ones that I do, it's for a good reason, because they solid. Shout out to my nigga Joe Dispenza, man, a master of the subject of the power of your subconscious mind. And he speaks about all the time how your mind does not understand the difference between a joke that you tell yourself and what you actually believe. If I visualize me crunching on cold ice, my teeth gonna shiver. If I visualize a situation in my life, if I visualize some dude, like, because I think growing up in, you know, lower income neighborhoods where it's potentially dangerous for not only me, but the people that I love, like my mom and my sister. Self-diagnosed, of course, what I'm about to say, but I do believe that I might have formed a small level of PTSD, right? Because I was always thinking about what could happen. I was always thinking about what if? What if I'm walking through this park late at night where the lights are all off, somebody came out and jumped me? me trying to prepare myself for that mentally every night when I'm coming home from work, right? Now, I don't want to live in fear, but I want to live though. I want to survive. And I'm living in a neighborhood where I'm hearing people, I'm hearing gunshots. I'm walking to work and I'm seeing a trail of blood on my way to the bus. You know what I mean? Like I'm seeing things like this. I'm knowing that these neighborhoods have trap houses where people got guns. I'm knowing where, I've seen things. And mentally I'm preparing myself for what could happen in this neighborhood where I know dangerous things potentially happen. But whole time while I'm preparing for things that actually never happen, your mind doesn't understand the difference between what's you actually walking through danger and then you preparing for danger. It doesn't understand, so it does the exact same thing to you mentally. It does the exact same thing for you. So it's crazy. I'm inheriting all this anxiousness. I'm inheriting all this, what I would call a small level of PTSD for something that actually never happened. And I only bring that up as example to say that your mind does not discern the difference between what you think and what's actually happening. When so when we read this tattoo and it says, watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. When this man has these negative emotions inside of himself because he's living in silence, right? And when it says, watch your words, maybe it's not the words that he says to you because he is living in silence. Maybe it's the words that he says to himself, further plummeting himself to a dark path, further plummeting himself into a place where self-love and self-awareness is not strong, is not where it needs to be, further plummeting himself further down, right? Not operating in his higher self, not vibrating as high as he could be, vibrating in his lower frequency because inside of his body, the windows are not raised and he not getting no ventilation. You understand what I'm saying? We got to really watch out for our brothers and our nephews and our uncles and our fathers and the men in our life. We got to look out for them because men internalize these things and they don't open up because they feel like there's nobody they can open up to. Because a lot of boys experience when we were growing up, nobody was there to nurture us and to speak life to us and look in us and look us in our eyes. We were nurtured to be like, hey, get your ass up. You fail, so what? Stop crying. You know what I mean? Somebody beat you up, you better go beat his ass back. You know? All these things that are coordinates that's sending us away from ourselves because we have been taught inadvertently, whether purposely or not, that it is not okay to be in tune with yourself. So what do? We keep it to ourselves because we understand that if we give it to somebody else, they just gonna send us right back with nothing. They're gonna send us back with disappointment. For the most part, as different as men can be, and even though we're not a monolith, one thing we almost always share in common, we're gonna try to find a way to save time. And we're not about to waste our time sharing with the world our problems when we know there's a good chance that the world gonna tell us to suck it up. Just shut up and dribble. Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. How many men get out of character and they do something silly that they can't come back from now, all because they've created this toxic environment inside of their temple. In the Bible, that says the body is a temple. The temple is not pure. There's no ventilation. You're not clear. You're becoming toxic. It's muck in there. You're the furthest thing from organic. You know what I'm saying? Like you need rehabilitation. You need assistance. You need help, but you can't get it because maybe the people in your family are not mindful people and not self-aware people to even know to help you. Maybe they're so busy drowning in their own misery, they definitely don't have no energy left to help you. These are the type of things that we're coming through as men, which is why it is so important that if there's a man in your life that you ask that man, how are you? And you look him in his eye and you try to hold space for him to truly give his answer. And if you see a nigga try to just brush it off like it ain't nothing, nah, don't let him say it ain't nothing because you know it's something. All of us are going through something, so it's never really nothing. Now, some of us, it's a spectrum of challenges that you go through, right? So some of our challenges are more surface level in nature, and maybe it doesn't need a deeper discussion because it's just something that you just go through when you go through it, right? Everything is not a crying moment. Everything is not I need to seek help and seek a therapist. Sometimes you just got to go through shit because that's what it means to be an adult. And you find your way because it's not going to kill you. But other people, use your intuition and use your discernment and really ask yourself, the men in my life, when I see them on the family vacations, when I'm going on a date with my boyfriend, when I'm hanging out with that one friend and the group of our other friends and I see him being quiet, let me check up on him. Because men hurt in silence and I just want to make sure that you're good. You know, I'm not trying to babysit you. I'm not trying to hold your hand through the pressure, but I am trying to let you know that I see you. And if you ever need to talk, I'm here for you. That would change everything. That would change absolutely everything. And before we move on to the next thing of men hurting in silence, I want to finish the chain of commands on this tattoo because I truly believe that to live by this is to master your fate. There's no way to go through life and not be happy at the end of it if you know this and you live by this. Watch your thoughts, they become words. And watch your words, they become actions. And watch your actions, they become habits. And watch your habits because they become your destiny. This is what happens to a man. And if he's not careful, and if he continues to hurt in silence, what does it say about his destiny? What is to become of his destiny? What is it to say about his actions that become his habits, things that he habitually does now? So now his actions have led him to escapism versus positive ways for him to decompress and let it off. Escapism is a very dangerous thing for men. Men are supposed to be able to hold themselves accountable, but if he's not able to, he's going to run to things that make him feel better. And the crazy thing about America is half the things that make us feel good is not good for us. Men run to drugs, they run to alcohol, they run to pornography, they run to having sex in the pain away, lust, all these things that are secretly seem like it's there to help you, but on the back end, they're things that are wishing on your downfall. These are things that are lowering your vibration because you know just as well as I do, too much access of anything is bad for you. When our thoughts become our words and our words become our actions and our actions become our habits, if we don't change our habits, right? If you drink every time you're not feeling good, if you don't change that, it's gonna lead to kidney failure. It's gonna lead to your skin looking dry and your mind being dry and you not thinking clearly and you not having creative thoughts that can free you, free yourself and your family. It's gonna prevent you from having thoughts that's gonna get you from point A to point Z. You're never gonna grow. Just every day life is passing you by and you're not adapting, you're not progressing, you're not accomplishing anything. You're just going through the motions of life. This becomes your destiny. All of us have friends and family members that have left the world too soon because of their addiction to a substance, because there was escapism. Now, you might think this is a stretch for men hurting in silence, but it's actually not. It starts in hurting. It starts off as hurting in silence, and then it takes different forms, and it transforms, and it transforms. And if it's not checked, and if it's not treated, it becomes this. It becomes this. It becomes hurt people hurting more people. And that just ends up adding more fuel to the problems in society that we're already trying to get away from. So one of the things that I want to see men stop doing is I want to see men stop hurting in silence. And listen, fellas, if you don't have anybody around you that loves you enough to actually give a fuck about the things that you're going through, if you don't have anybody around you who actually sees the value and the beauty in who you are as a man, because they're too busy being sick themselves, right? It's hard for hurt people to heal people. Rarely do we ever really hear about that, right? So you might not have the luxury of coming from a good family or having a good friend circle. You might have friends, but they might not be good people. They might be struggling with their own illnesses. What I want you to do is focus on what you can do. Forget what you can't do. Focus on what you can do. Change up the content that you're listening to. Change up the music that you're listening to. Go find your friend in the digital space. If you can't find that person in your environment because that person is not in your zip code, find somebody on the internet that's speaking that language, that's talking that talk, that's saying them things that you need to hear. And then you channel those people and continue to consume that information and use it as inspiration to get in one step closer to where you know that you actually want to be. You know what I'm saying? Read books, work out, meditate, take longer walks, eat healthier, do whatever it is you got to do. Because one thing about us as men, I need you to understand is that nobody is really coming to save us. Nobody's coming to save us. Sometimes the girls get a free ride. Sometimes the girls get in the club free. Sometimes the girls get offered things for free. Sometimes the world takes pity on women. Sometimes, right? Sometimes the women get help for picking up heavy things. Sometimes a woman gets walked to her car. Sometimes a woman is just offered random assistance because she's a joy to be around and she has good feminine energy. You know, that's not the case for us as men, though. I know that, and you know that. And the sooner you understand that it's going to take you to help you, the quicker you can get to healing yourself, the quicker you can get to providing yourself with exactly what you need, because we don't have the luxuries that a lot of women have now. I'm not saying that we're just victims as men, but this conversation is for people who are grown and people who understand that there are men who are hurting in silence. And if we don't assist them and help them get one step closer to sharing what's on their mind, the future's not looking bright. And we need bright futures for our men because men are the leaders. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. We the motherfucking leaders. You ever play Rough House with a woman before and actually did a little bit too much and she was actually hurt from that shit? We're stronger than them. You think God gave us this physical advantage over women to not be the leaders? And some of y'all might think that's controversy, and I say that's a you problem because at the end of the day, we're strong for a reason because we're built to withstand more. And if you ask me, I say it's our gift at birth. It's our birthright to be able to withstand more, to be able to go that extra mile. That's how it's supposed to be. I understand there's a lot of women in life, they step up and they got to do everything, right? And I shout out to all the queens who out there not dropping the ball because a man don't know how to act right. But there are some men out there, if you're listening to my voice right now, I want you to understand that it is your birthright to be a leader, but it's not guaranteed for you. It is a choice, and you can choose not to step into your light. You can choose not to step into the position that was given to you at birth. Somewhere in this world is a group of people that will follow you. Somewhere in this world is a woman who will look up to you and want to go wherever you tell her we going. But you are not worthy to receive those blessings and to receive that position in life until you heal. You got to heal first. And the first way that you heal as a man is you got to stop hurting in silence. Now, the second thing that I want to see men stop doing is I want to see men stop submitting to lust. Submitting to your lust as a man is the fastest way to your demise. It is the fastest way to your life changing from everything it could have been to now having a much harder time, a way, way, way harder time. Let me tell you something. When you submit to your lust, now what do I mean by that when I say that? Submitting to your lust is allowing your little head to make more decisions than the big head. You get what I'm saying? You, as a man, you were submitting to your lust when you allow your little head to make important decisions that the big head should be making. Pause. But you get what I mean. And again, this goes back to escapism. We cannot be sexing our problems away every time shit not going our way in life. We can't be running the pussy. We can't be running the women every single time we don't feel good. Every single time life not going our way because we upset about where we not at, because we upset about our financial situation, because we upset about the fact that because we upset about our financial situation. We can't keep running the lust. Because as a man, I look at submitting to your lust like gambling at a casino. It's only so long you can get away with winning before it's time for you to lose. It's only so long. Nobody beats the house, bro. It is not designed for you to beat the house. It is not designed for you to have as much sex as you want to without a baby showing up at some point. It is not designed for you to have as much sex as you want to without catching an STD. It is not designed for you to have as much sex as you want to without being attached to the wrong person. And now your life is off the beaten path and you further away from staying focused and doing what you were supposed to be doing. It is not designed for you to do this. At some point, you're going to get caught up by one or the other. Look around. You ain't got to believe me. Look at your friends. Look at your uncles, look at your fathers, look at your brothers, look at the men in your life. Look around and you'll see it's a lot of men who could have been great. It's a lot of men who got derailed from their path because they had to now take care of the responsibility of taking care of a woman and taking care of a child that they had no intention of taking care of. Some men step up to the plate and take care of them, which is super fucking hard. And then some idiots completely avoid it, run away. And then you know God not going to bless them. You know God not going to bless them because that's not honorable. Either way, whether you choose to step up to the plate or you decide to be a fucking douchebag, it's going to derail you and it's going to slow you down. It's not impossible. It is not impossible to have a child, have a kid, and then still become successful, to still focus on your accomplishments. But you're going to have a harder time and you're not going to be able to do it at the same capacity as you could if you didn't have those responsibilities. And these are things that I want to tell, especially all my young niggas. Listen, Rennie, Gil, listen up. Listen up, my nigga. You got to stop submitting to lust. I'm not telling you what to do and what you can't do. What I am telling you to do is do not be a slave to your urges. Don't be a slave to your emotions because men who are slaves to their emotions are just going to be another sheep in the cattle. You're going to be another sheep in the herd, man. We need leaders. Who going to lead the pack? Who going to be the shepherd? I'm not the sex police, man. What you do with your dick, that's your business. Pause. But what I am saying is control yourself. Control yourself, man. You're going to sex yourself into a position in life that you can't unsex yourself out of. And can't nobody help you when you got that baby, man. It's all you now, player. It's all you now. It's going to be you and once upon a child trying to get secondhand fits for you and your baby. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying it. And I ain't saying it gotta be like that, but like when most of us are not prepared for any type of emergency financially. So you know we ain't prepared to have no baby. You know we ain't prepared to take care of no woman and buy formula and buy diapers. We not prepared for that. We are not prepared for that. And we gotta start submitting to our lust, man. Every time shit not going our way. Listen, Instead of submitting to your lust, why don't you sacrifice that and supplement it with some other positive things that you could be doing with your time? There's way more positive things you could be doing with your time. Like you could be working out, you could be reading a motherfucking book, you could be meditating, you could be joining a fucking club somewhere, learning something. Go learn about stocks or something like that. You know what I mean? Like too many people fucking, not enough people learning. Go get a fucking education. And I ain't talking about the school kind because school wasn't for me. Y'all already know that if you listen to this podcast. But you know what I do in the morning? I had to stop watching podcasts and meaningless things that are nice. They cool. You know what I mean? It's mad entertaining, but I had to start realizing that how long have I been watching YouTube? Forever. And out of the countless videos that I done watched, how many of them have helped me make $1? Just being honest. How many of these things that I've watched on YouTube have helped me make $1? Not many of them. All the things that I watched on YouTube that helped me make $1 was educational. And if you can make $1, you can not only can you help yourself, but you can help somebody else. We're not even talking about kids. We're talking about you might want to bless the homie. You want to bless your parents. God forbid all the help that they did for us. I mean, they only wiped our asses and raised us and put clothes on our body and food in our stomachs. God forbid we do anything to give back to them. You know what I mean? If you can make an extra $1, there's a lot you can do, man, not only just for you, but for your community. And I had to stop just watching just anything on YouTube. It don't mean that I don't still be watching shit for entertainment because I do, but I'm also taking the time to be like, you know what? Let me look up something on stocks. What do I not understand about stocks right now? Let me look up swing trading. Let me look up how to get inside the entry of a trade at support and resistance. Let me look up the fair value gap. Let me continue to watch certain videos over and over and over and over again until I truly understand it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to figure out how to get to this bag. I don't got time to be broke forever. I'm not broke now, but I don't want to be at the financial position that I'm at forever. I say all that to say this. When you stop submitting to your lust, you can start pouring into and investing into things that are going to give you a return of investment. I don't know about y'all, man, but at some point you got to get tired of chasing women because it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing, man. You chase women, you spend money, you spit game, you get what you want or don't. And then before you know it, you invested all of this energy. And what do you have to show for it? The fact that you got your nut off? There has to be more to it. I'm sorry for the vulgar language for the people if you don't like it, but it's a grown-ass podcast. This the Halfway Up podcast. And we focus on self-development here. And I'm talking to the fellas, and I know they understand the language that I'm speaking. Stop submitting to your lust, man, because it is a one-way trip to a harder life, one way or another. Even if you don't get a woman pregnant, you might find yourself being attached to that woman way longer than you were supposed to. And that also derails you from your path. It slows you down. And we don't need things to be slowing us down. Life is already limited as it is. We don't know when the good Lord gonna call us home. Do you know when God gonna ask you to come home? I don't. Truth be told, I done wasted enough time. I done submitted to lust more than enough times to know that that's not for me. And I also know play stupid games, win stupid prizes. It's only, again, nobody beats the house forever. It's only so many times you can win and get away scot-free from submitting to lust before it catch up with you. Because it's going to catch up with you. And this is that real conversation that I'm having with my guys. You know what I'm talking about, man. You know what I'm talking about. You're welcome because I know this is the reminder that you needed. The third thing that I want to see men stop doing is I want to see men stop isolating themselves. Stop removing yourself from the pack. Stop going out of your way to get away from your community. Stop going out of your way to get away from people that can see you. Because a lot of the time when we hurting in silence, when we're not feeling good and we don't want to talk about it, we just remove ourselves because we don't want people to see us. And you know what I mean? When somebody looks at you and they know it's something underneath this person. They saying one thing, but there's something else underneath that they're not saying, and I see it. I sense it. My intuition and my discernment tells me so. When men hide their shame, when they hide the fact that they're not proud of themselves, they go away. They isolate themselves. We make up all of these lies to ourselves that the world is fake, no new friends, I can't trust nobody. All of these things is bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Because of course the world is fake. But there's also some very real people in this world. You don't want to meet them people? Quit justifying reasons to isolate yourself, man. All of us need community to some degree, even if you're more of a homebody type of individual. Okay, I get that. I get that. More likely than not, you want to be home where you're not spending your money, where you're safe and you're relaxing, and you can stay focused and be ready to go to work the next day. Brother, I get you. I get you. However, I'm not exactly sure if it's possible for any of us to be actually honestly happy if we're not being fulfilled. And one of the ways that we find fulfillment is by pouring into our communities and allowing our communities to pour back into ourselves. And you cannot do that if you keep isolating yourself. Stop isolating yourself, because the truth is sometimes it's healing to be around the right people. Now, maybe you don't have the right people in your life, and that's why you isolate yourself. You know what? You need to find those people. You're not going to find them at the crib. You go to work and you go home. You go home and you go to work. That's it. You got you and your girl. Your girl can't be your everything, bro. I'm going to tell you this right now. If your girl, listen, and one of the number one ways that men isolate themselves is they hide behind their girl. Because this be the problem in a lot of relationships. Men put all the pressure on a woman's shoulders to be everything a community of people supposed to be in one. And that's because you isolating yourself. I'm not saying she can't be your friend. I'm not saying she can't be your preacher when you need preaching to. I'm not saying she can't be your doctor when you need healing. I'm not saying she can't be your confidant when you need somebody to talk to. But what I am saying is it is too much pressure to put on anybody's shoulders to be everything that multiple people are supposed to be for you. And you got to stop isolating yourself, because that's the reason why you're doing it. And your partner might not be strong enough or might not be vulnerable enough to tell you the truth, but chances are you probably putting too much pressure on their shoulders, bro. And maybe not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to act like I know what every dynamic of every couple in America or the world is and what they go through. I'm not trying to pretend like that at all. But what I am saying is I know for a fact that a lot of men are putting too much pressure on a woman when they should be putting that pressure through individuals that help you get that same feeling. You know what I'm saying? Go and find your community, bro, and stop isolating yourself. Why do you want to be alone so bad? Why do you want to be alone so bad? And why does your girl have to be your everything? How come you don't got a friend? And I understand everybody's not worthy of being your friend, because there's some real shifty type people out here. I totally understand that. Trust me. I'm not going out here just saying niggas my friend because I'm alone. I'm not alone, but if I was, I'm not just going to be out here. Man, my first couple of years in New York City, I ain't really had no friends like that. I experienced a lot of loneliness. And one thing that I wasn't about to do is I wasn't about to go out of my way and force friendships with people because I don't know how to sit with myself, right? Because as a man, it's also important that you know how to sit with yourself. But I'm just saying, and listen, if you can be honest with yourself, then you know what I'm saying is real deal. You know what I'm saying is gospel. A lot of the time, men isolate themselves and they hurting from it, bro. Get your ass up and go find a community, man. You like music, go places where music is being had. It don't gotta be concerts. Maybe it could be conferences where people breaking down streaming numbers and people breaking down different aspects of the business. You know what I mean? Like, go find a community of people so you can be fulfilled, so no one person has to fill the role that multiple people are actually supposed to be fulfilling, bro. And that's what I mean when I say don't isolate yourself. Stop isolating yourself, because a lot of the time, a lot of us is hurt, and you're not gonna get the healing until you allow yourself to be embraced, until you embrace people. Stop living in fear. Men are some of the most emotional people on the planet, man. We just show it differently. We just show it differently. And I can say that. You might be able to convince the women that that's not true, but I know what's really going on. As a man myself, you know I know what's going on, bro. You know I do. Number 4, the thing that I want to see men stop doing is stop ignoring your health. Stop acting like that thing that you're feeling in your body is not something. Stop acting like it's all in your head when it's really all in your body, and you need to go get checked out. One of the number one things I used to hear all the time is that men die from colon cancer all the time because they refuse to go to the hospital. That's how my grandfather checked up out of here. Good man, leader, papered up, business owner, leader amongst men, real man's man. You get what I'm saying? Somebody whose reputation precedes himself. I still hear stories about my grandfather, and I don't even remember meeting him for real. Great man. But when he transitioned out of this world, he probably transitioned sooner than he had to because he was not going to the hospital, because he wasn't checking on himself. Again, the way we're socialized as men got a bad rap in society, man. I know it's a lot of women that don't want to hear that shit, but in a lot of ways it's true, man. We've been socialized to not take care of ourselves. We've been socialized to not prioritize what we need, because we was taught to just stick it up and take it one day at a time. 1 foot forward, stick your chest out, shoulders back, chest out. You know what I'm saying? Chin up. But where's the love? Where's the self-love? Stop ignoring your health, bro. Wash your fucking face. Go to the fucking gym. Stop drinking your problems away. Stop sexing your problems away. Stop hanging out with these lame ass niggas because you scared to be alone. Stop isolating yourself because you got hurt 1 or 2 times and now you acting like it's me against the world. This is not how people flourish. This is not how people become rich. And I don't mean monetarily. I mean the real riches. The riches that fill your spirit. The riches that fill your soul to the point where you come into spaces and you're glowing. without even saying nothing. People feeling your energy when they look you in your eye because you different, because you done worked on yourself, because you done conditioned yourself, because you done did the real fucking work. Stop ignoring your health, man, because it's important. Ignoring your health is only gonna hurt you. The joke's gonna be on you. It's only so long that you can run away from the inevitable before your ass is stuck in a hospital, looking outside of a window, wishing you was free. Things that you could have avoided. Stop acting like you don't feel the things in your body. Listen, when I was smoking weed heavy, my anxiousness was showing in small stages, and I kept smoking, acting like I didn't feel it. Part of the reason why, because I didn't really understand what it was that I was feeling. I was just thinking what we all think, like it'll go away. Everything not gonna go away, bro. Everything not gonna go away. You can't tuck everything underneath the rug when it comes to your body. If you feeling something and it pops back up every now and then, stop ignoring it and go seek some help, man. You don't got to pay them hospital bills, man. Listen, I done been to the hospital a couple of times and they ain't got a dime for me. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but what I am saying is I'm not going to let me not having medical expenses. And I don't got insurance. I don't got no health insurance. But if I feel like it's something going on with my body and I feel like my life is potentially in danger, one thing I'm not going to do, I'm not going to avoid no goddamn hospital. I'm going to go see me a doctor. And no, you're not about to get this money because I don't have it. I do not have it. But yeah, you're going to check the blood. You're going to run the EKG. You're going to do all that for me because I got to live. I got to live my life, man. I got to live my life. And you know what? I do not have the money to pay y'all. But you know what? Y'all got enough money flowing through this hospital. Y'all good. I know you're going to be blowing up my line. I know you're going to be sending me mail. I will not be opening it. I will not be opening the mail because I don't have it. What's more important to me than worrying about being scared to pay a bill is me focusing on, am I good? At least you can leave the hospital understanding like, hey, I'm good. Or you understand where you need to start, where you need to work toward. Stop ignoring your health because that be the first thing that's take us out as men, especially black men. Black men be so scared to go to the hospital. We be so scared to go to a professional and have them put their hands on us, man. And I know why you scared. And I know why you scared. Especially when it comes to that colon cancer. Trust me. Because I ain't looking forward to that day either. I'm 31. I feel like I'm young enough where I ain't got to focus on that shit right now. But I know it's right around the corner where I got to start focusing on that shit. You get what I'm saying? So I'm mentally preparing myself for that because I don't like the idea of what a doctor got to do to make sure you're straight. And I know a lot of men feel that. But I also know that a lot of us as men have heard the stories of older men going to the hospital, getting that colon checked, pause, and then realizing that they had polyps and they had things down there that could have turned to cancer if it went unchecked. We don't know what's going on inside of our bodies. Even me as a healthy person, I can eat as good as I want to. I can work out as much as I want to. I don't know what's going on inside of my body, man. I don't. I've been living with this body for 31 years. And you know what? I'm just as clueless I'm just as clueless at 31 as I was at age 0. I don't know what's going on with my body. And if I need to, I will not ignore my health. I will allow a medical professional to look into me and tell me what the fuck is going on so that I can fix it, man. That's what I want to see men stop doing. I want to see men stop ignoring their health. That might be the most important one. And last but not least, number 5, the 5th thing that I want to see men stop doing is stop picking the wrong woman. Because the sooner we realize that, man, you can save yourself a lot of trouble, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of financial problems, a lot of depression by choosing the right woman and not the wrong one. And this goes back to me saying things that I want to see men stop doing is to stop submitting to lust. You're going to pick the wrong woman if you submit to your lust and now you have had a baby and now you have had a child with a woman that plans on keeping the child and now you have to be responsible, bro. Some men are not going to be responsible and some men are going to be responsible and hate every moment of doing it because they know they're not with the person that they want to be with. But it's too late. And now you got to step up to the plate because she's decided to keep it. And now this is what your life looks like. Now you have to change whatever plans that you had to some degree. You have to make adjustments, right? You got to pivot a little bit. And now you got to handle your business. Now you got to get familiar with the family that you had no intention of getting familiar with. Now you got to become closer to a woman that you had no intention of getting closer to. You was just thinking you was just going to have a good night out and have you a little fun. And now you about to see this person, talk to this person, deal with this person for every Christmas until eternity. Because now, whether y'all decide to stick together and grow closer or y'all decide to do the co-parenting thing, this person is your family now, whether you like it or not. And that's what I mean when I say picking the wrong woman. Picking the wrong woman can be your absolute downfall. And listen, for all the women out there who hate to hear a man say anything that makes sense regarding women because you just hate the idea of a man saying something honest and truthful that's not about bigging you up, this ain't for you, shawty. Hey, queen, this ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? You can see yourself out the door. It's right there. You know what I'm saying? But this for the men. This episode for the men anyway. The wrong woman is anybody that you're not compatible with. The wrong woman is anybody that you're not aligned with, anybody that you don't get along with, anybody that you don't see eye to eye with, anybody who don't want the same things out of life that you want, anybody who don't believe in you, anybody that you don't believe in, anybody that you don't actually care about. You was only there for a physical pleasure. You was there for a good night, not a long time. And now you done rolled the dice and you got the long time. The only way to avoid this, man, is allowing your brain to make the life decisions that your little head should not be making. Pause once again. Because when you submit to lust, you put yourself in danger. You on the danger path. You smoking on the danger pack, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because you out here making short-term decisions, thinking about fun and not thinking about what's the best decision for me to keep my body safe, to keep my mind, my emotions, my spirit safe. You done picked the wrong woman because you out here swinging and banging, thinking shit sweet, and now you done found yourself being permanently tethered to a woman for the rest of your life. Because once you find yourself in a situation with a woman, well, now she's going to be a part of your life for the rest of your life, whether you like it or not. Thus, resources that you can't put into yourself no more. Thus, resources that you can't put into your goals. That's free time that you can't have to yourself no more because now you got responsibilities, king. Now you got responsibilities. Now your life has changed drastically. You got to step up to the plate. You either going to step up to the plate or you're going to be a fucking bum and you're going to run away and escape your responsibilities. Either way, bro, either way, the universe going to tax you. Even if you a bum ass nigga who try to run away from raising his kids and taking care of the woman or just raising his kids, the universe going to tax you. You might have got away from that woman, but you're not going to get away from God. You're not going to get away from God. And what I'm saying is that you would save yourself so much more trouble if you would just focus on picking the right woman. That's why hookup culture is actually fucking dangerous. I'm not saying that people can't have fun and do your thing. But what I am saying is it's a limit to how long you got to stay at that table while you gambling, because it is a gamble, especially when you're not strapped up and you're not using a condom. It's a gamble. How many chances are you going to get away from this scot-free before you get caught up? Nobody beats the house, bro. It's not designed for you to beat the casino. At the end of the night, the casino gonna always make more money than the best winner at the table. So yeah, you might be doing your thing, niggas practicing the Puerto Rican pull-out method, whatever niggas call it. Yeah, you only got so long, bro. You only got so long, and this is a conversation for real men only. I'm talking to the fellas. I'm talking to the men who understand. I'm talking to the people who out there who really live in this real life. You understand? I ain't doing no capping. Ain't no capping my rap, man. Picking the wrong woman is going to set you back. It is going to change everything. Do yourself a favor. Do not put yourself in a situation where you've chosen the wrong woman and now your life has changed forever. And now all the money that you need to be having to yourself to focus on your own goals, to focus on your own prosperity, now you got to put it somewhere else. And you can't take care of yourself no more. You can't sleep in all day no more. You can't take random vacations and be gone for weeks and weeks and months. You can't just switch your city and just go somewhere else because now you got to be where you at. And that's just real rap. And I'm not talking down on nobody for being in that situation. I'm not saying that nobody's better than anybody for not being in that situation or for being in that situation. But what I am saying is, please, my niggas, my brothers, think with your brain. You want to have your fun in life? I respect that, man. Go have your fun, King. Go have your fun, man. This life is to be enjoyed, man. Live your life, man. Seek your thrills, but do it wisely and do it smart. And understand that picking the wrong woman gonna shut all that shit down. I promise you that. Oh, I promise you that. Picking the wrong woman gonna shut all that shit down. Whatever the fuck you thought, you're not about to do it. Because now you done picked the wrong woman and now you're fucking stressed and now you're depressed and now all of that peace and happiness you might have once had is gone because you're with somebody who don't give a fuck about that shit. You don't know what type of family she come from. You don't know what type of family trauma that she's endured, which has now shaped the way that she sees things. You know, as we say all the time, perception is reality. You don't know what type of reality she's perceiving, and you don't know how she sees you. And you don't know how she's going to treat you, and you don't know how she's going to make you don't know how she's going to make your life harder because of it. These are the 5 things that I want to see men stop doing. These are the 5 things. I want to see men stop hurting in silence. I want to see men stop submitting to lust. I want to see men stop isolating yourself. I want to see men stop ignoring your health. And most importantly, maybe not most importantly, but just as important as any of the other ones, I want to see men stop picking the wrong woman. These are the 5 things that I want to see men stop doing. This is the Halfway Up Podcast. Please leave a rating and please leave a review if you fucking with the message, man. If you fucking with this halfway up energy, you fucking with this vibe, man. Please support the message, man. Leave me a rating and a review. Come find me. Come holler at me. Send my episodes to somebody that you know may need it. I know you be having them little conversations with your homies. You be having them, the girls be having them bathroom conversations. The homies be having them hot box conversations. Wherever you at, send this to somebody that you know that it might resonate with, man. You know what I'm saying? Follow me on the gram. Send me a message. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Please subscribe to the YouTube. Follow me on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Follow me wherever, man. Reach out to me. If you're listening, I want you to be a part of this community. I want you to be a part of this community. And if you are a part of this community, you know it's a couple things that we say every time we end the episode. Youth is temporary, but health is forever. We must stay healthy. We must stay healthy. That's a non-negotiable, man. We got to stay healthy. I got some watermelon in the bag right over here, some mangoes. I got some oranges from Africa. I got all kind of shit. I'm about to eat all that shit. Facts. Because a nigga got to stay healthy. I'm trying to stay sexy. The skin is nice. The skin is smooth. The skin is moisturized. I drink the water. You know, when you look good, people going to let you know you look good. It's a good feeling when people tell you like, damn, your skin glowing. What are you doing? Nothing. Sometimes I don't even be washing my face. I just be eating good. You know what I mean? And I'm not proud to, admit it, but, it is what it is. So, youth is temporary, but health is forever. And before we get out of here, the mantra, the religion, the spirit of the brand, whenever I'm working, I will remember that done is better than perfect. And if I'm satisfied with my work, then that means that I'm living in my purpose. This is the Halfway Up Podcast. I'm your host, Wolf Taylor. I am about to record another episode for the first time, doing 2 episodes in one day, back to back. I got work to do. I love you guys, man. Peace.